Would females continue to play such a stifling role when they can have more without dependence on a single provider? Now, females have very successfully orchestrated equal outcome, in fact superior outcome, and they have retained traditionalist pleasantries, like chivalrous courtesies, which are vestigial remnants of the barter of traditionalism. In exchange for sweet demure subordination, females were serviced with protocols and gallantries males did not enact for each other, such as honor defending, or manual labor sparing, or respect deferring gestures such as opening doors or hand kissing, etc. Now, within the midst of current social upheaval, a few males, having been disenfranchised by females and relationships, have taken the opportunity to dig deeper into humanity's dirty laundry, only to find male inequity goes much deeper than traditionalism. A return to old-fashioned values will only cause the whole patriarchy-feminism cycle all over again. Intrepid males are finding an injustice deeper than any social paradigm. We have found gynocentrism, and since technology allows us instant communications, the truth is proliferating like wildfire. As well it should. It is time for males to take off the yoke of slavery, a yoke which is fastened in place by a wreath of guilt over patriarchy, male privilege, vertical urination, etc., etc. Male obligation to carry women and society is held in place through shaming males over their existence, their biology, their interests, blah blah, take your pick. However, the cat is out of the bag, and the crude, unhygienic, murdering rapists are starting to peek behind the illusion to see how the global female collective has lobbied governments, swayed legislation, and cultural discourse demanding equality, while fiercely clinging to chivalry as their just compensation for centuries of supposed suppression, ignoring the fact that male-to-female chivalry is a remnant from a time when females forfeit equality for protection. Equality times chivalry equals supremacy. This is unfair, and this is what guys are crying foul over. Females have the best of both worlds, without having to make some old man a sandwich. Meanwhile, guys have no recourse but to continue their roles as protectors, providers, and willing martyrs in a tilted game. Increasing numbers of males see and are affected by this glaring duplicity, affected by the legal inequity against males, affected by the blatant parasitism of conspicuous self-interested uteruses. Indeed, random males throughout history have warned of female nature, of self-interest and tendencies to swing up the branches of the provisional tree. However, this new emergence of knowledge in disgruntled males is hastened by the communication networks where males around the globe can get access to truth and compare notes. Hence, because of our current state of technology, more and more males are starting to awaken to reality. They are starting to see the reality behind the pink propaganda, and they are quite understandably pissed. This is why males complain. They are awakening to the fact that they are not privileged nor entitled. They are devalued, and because of the state of our world, where peoples and nations have wealth, technology, and instant communication networks, it is no accident we are seeing men's welfare groups and organizations sprouting everywhere. In the face of instant global communications, the lies can no longer be contained. What the anesthetized public fails to grasp is that male groups do not imagine conspiracies out of boredom. They merely cluster together to rebuke the manifestations of an inequity that has always been. Male usury has always belied everything, yet we are unfamiliar with this truth because we have been dazzled by the matrix of male villainy, female oppression. However, now, due to the aforementioned confluences of human wealth development and technological circumstance, now the old reliable male oppression female victimization cover story is ripping at the seams. The illusion is coming apart, revealing the inequity beneath. Whiny dudes online are not intentionally making up stuff. We are simply starting to see our own enslavement and the machinations driving our brainwashing subjugation, which fuels outrage and the desire to awaken other males to their true plight of usury. Males are devalued to justify their expendability. Everything else that males complain about are just details resultant from the actual source of inequity, gynocentrism. Most conservative males are complaining because they are upset that females stop playing the traditionalist game and they won't get back in the kitchen to fix the gingerbread house that feminism broke. But this is merely an exercise of diversion, like debating the branches rather than the roots of a tree that offends you. No, the true source, the true flavor of male outrage accelerated by global communications comes from the osmosis of reality, which is usury and expendability, not privilege. And males have been sacrificial fodder since time immemorial. We are depreciated in value, yet simultaneously indicted as criminal mutations. We are blanketed with propaganda of the male sex as vile and privileged. Yet the truth we are awakening to is that we are actually devalued and discarded for the welfare of females. Males are awakening to a reality where they obey and coddle females who call the shots in relationships, in social interactions, and in emergency situations. This awakening has been hastened by technology coupled with feminism's advanced male blood quest, highlighted by the blatant hypocrisy of their equality and chivalry demands. If you thought yourself a king only to wake up an abused animal in a cage, you would be a little angry and you might complain as well. Okay, so, truth. You want truth. Here it is. Males are devalued and discarded. This is reality. Males as privileged, raping, murdering plunderers is the propagandized agenda. Because everything you see in this world, everything is a result of gynocentrism. And again, gynocentrism causes female worth inflation and male devaluation. You look outside your front door and you see a world that you understand, a world of concrete and male debauchery. You may not like this reality, but you cling to it because it is all you know. However, this is the wizard behind your pretty reality curtain. Males are used and abused, and females are elevated and worshipped. Rebuke, criticize, fight, scream, and insult all you want. Guys are not complaining for no reason. Guys are not withdrawing from relations and society for kicks and giggles. There is a reason, and I have given you the basement floor truth. Gynocentrism. Everything else, from divorce inequities to male mockery in pop culture, these are all simply details, downstream manifestations of gynocentrism. This world is the product of gynocentrism. Everything. So if you like it, if you don't like it, existence is resultant from elevating female life above male life. This is the basal truth that people will deny. You can argue propaganda, rhetoric. You can focus on the outliers and exceptions. People who have been married for a gazillion years and they are as happy as cookie dough ice cream. People can argue over how their mom or sister or wife or family members are different. They can bolster assertions of male villainy with stories of abusive boyfriends or dads. You can debate chivalry or equality ad infinitum. And indeed, people do get caught up in the smoke and mirrors, wholly ignoring the roots which cause the inequity of the branches. Now, because of the success of male villainy, patriarchy, mass enculturation, it is predictably easier for the general populace to believe in UFOs or big pharmaceutical conspiracy theories than to entertain this outlandish truth, which is clearly debunked by pointing out the wage gap or how women are still forced to wear burqas in a few places around the globe. And thus people involved on either side of male usury argue semantics. They never address the cause of inequity, gynocentrism. So, you pop onto the internet one day, and you find yourself smack in the middle of dudes complaining. You hear their anger over mistreatment by a female-favoring state or legal system. You hear their discontentment over being sold lies about romance or marriage. You observe guys belly aching about being used for money, for labor, for utility and material sustenance providership, for protection, for their very life essence as they slave away at a hazardous job to support females and the maintenance of a society that props itself upon the disposable shoulders of males. Yet, without understanding reality and the cause of the complaints, you too might dismiss these complainers as jaded quacks who need to grow up. The ignorant, brainwashed populace either has no clue what MGTOW, men's rights, male empowerment is all about, or they do understand and criticize from a position of having investment in continuity of the status quo. So, folks insult male spaces and male empowerment philosophies like this will quell male discontent through symptom debate rather than causality resolution. We get caught up in the arguments of oblivious peoples who wholly miss the point of male outrage and rebellion. Males are devalued to justify disposability. This is the injustice. Yet without this crucial understanding, critics of male movements will feign level-headed problem comprehension, but they are as clueless as a meatball sandwich at an origami seminar, and people display their ignorance and failure to grasp the true problem when they assert MGTOW as some extreme version of feminism for guys who are ugly, jaded, juvenile, gay, etc. People have no clue about male empowerment. They don't understand or have an inkling about what we really proselytize. So pay attention. We are not here because we need to refute manspreading or mansplaining. We are here to rebuke injustice. That is our beef, gynocentrism. You can deny and mock everything said here, but your confirmation is not needed because all of this is happening right now with or without your approval. Males are awakening to these truths and walking away from relationships, marriage, college, social interactions. Increasing numbers of males around the world are turning their backs, abandoning traditional avenues of male interest, involvement, or achievement in society. You do not have to believe anything said here. Observe for yourself males withdrawing from cultural facets, such as family or higher learning. Do you think they would be doing this if the system was not fundamentally broken? Think about it. That is the truth of the matter. Your agreement is not needed. Males complain because they are awakening to the reality and injustice of gynocentrism. And again, gynocentrism breaks down to reproduction. Procreation is the imperative of life. Human reproduction is very gestation intensive and time dependent. Human offspring requires extended periods in utero, and since uteruses are possessed by human females, thus females hold superior life worth over males. Females being represented with the prefix gyno, and their protection and welfare is what we center our priorities on, hence the suffix centric or centrism. The result of gynocentrism is that males are deemed expendable, and since males are disposable, we purposefully devalue them to alleviate any moral conflict regarding their dehumanizing usage as lesser creatures of labor and protection. That's right, take it in. Female life is elevated in worth and males are the slave class. Everything else, all the legal inequities, social mockery, all the things that you hear guys complain about in male spaces, online, these are all symptoms of the disease. And the disease is gynocentrism. Gynocentrism belies all social constructs, including government, religion, and patriarchy. It is the cornerstone of human interaction. Everything else is just details. You can argue over old white dudes running government or corporation. You can argue wage gap or sex trafficking. You can argue over patriarchy or feminism. The fact remains we are gynocentric as a species, and this necessarily invokes male usury due to their disposable verdict, a verdict precipitated by reproductive anatomy. No matter how you think females are oppressed or abused according to the pretty shiny window front propaganda, truth is they are valued more than males. Our complaint is the expendability of males preceded by devaluation based upon determination of lesser life worth due to sexual anatomy roles in procreation. Our beef is gynocentrism, and gynocentrism is caused because of reproductive biology. And there you have it. That is the genesis, the prequel of the current male unrest. Now, if you people want to criticize male empowerment, at least have some shred of a clue about what we really proffer. Come at us with gynocentrism analysis, not ignorant shaming language or get back on the horse pep talks in response to divorce inequity. If you want to debate oppression, then how about discussing why it is fair and equitable to invoke life value prejudice based upon sexual anatomy? Yeah. Close your mouth, open your mind, see reality, then stand with me and live free.